Taco Bell is opening up a retirement community in California. The Greek God Poseidon has been canceled in Mexico. And Greece's new 6-day work week takes effect soon. These are the weird stories for Monday on Weird AF News, the only daily weird news podcast in the galaxy. Yeehaw, baby! Taco Bell is opening up a retirement community in California. Great, now there's more ways than one to die inside a Taco Bell. A Taco Bell retirement community. Never thought I'd see the day. I assume this is for the geezers that want to live mas, or, if you're of a certain age, maybe live no mas. Taco Bell introduces its latest groundbreaking experience designed to redefine leisure lifestyle. It's called the Cantinas. It's an early retirement community that promises a weekend getaway like no other. Here, guests can embrace the laid-back lifestyle of retirees, regardless of their age. I'd like to know who came up with this. Who's standing around a Taco Bell and going, you know what? This place could use like a couple pickleball courts. Let's do it. The Taco Bell Retirement Cantinas is opening its doors from August 17th to the 18th in 2024. Wait a minute. I thought this was a retirement community. You're only going to be open for 2 days? This sounds very strange. The Cantinas invites guests to indulge in a Taco Bell-fueled, sun-soaked experience filled with senior-inspired recreation and cross-generational activities. From early morning golf tee times to afternoon aerobics and pickleball matches, attendees will feel rejuvenated and immersed in a community oasis that celebrates the diverse art of living mas. Now, we have a quote here from Taylor Montgomery, the chief marketing officer of Taco Bell, who gets paid a lot of money to trick people into eating their poison. That's basically what this guy's role is. Taylor says, well, there's a common misconception that retirement unlocks the life you've been waiting for. And while that may be true for some people, we don't think you should have to wait until 55 to live the life that you're craving. The Cantinas early retirement community, just like our brand, represents a place where all generations can come together, regardless of age, to live their mas however they want. Oh, so this isn't really a retirement community. This is a Taco Bell pop-up that offers pickleball and shuffleboard. It's like, it seems to me it's probably like aimed at Gen Z. People who want to go there and take selfies and lose control of their bowels in a group setting. It says exclusive access to the Taco Bell Cantinas is reserved for Taco Bell Rewards members with a range of options, including weekend memberships with overnight accommodations. Oh, guys, have you ever wanted to sleep in a Taco Bell? Yeah, I'll take the futon as close to the restroom as possible. After all, this is Taco Bell food. There's also some day passes for full-day enjoyment of amenities and activities. The Cantinas experience is meant for Taco Bell superfans, 21 plus. Hard to imagine that Taco Bell would have superfans. What kind of people are superfans of Taco Bell? People that obviously don't give a damn about their gastrointestinal lifestyle. Memberships will be available for purchase only for Taco Bell Rewards members on a first-come, first-served basis via a link available to Taco Bell Rewards members in the Taco Bell app. If you're wondering what this is going to run you, it says weekend memberships are $150, includes overnight accommodations for the ticket and a guest. Oh, that sounds very romantic. Anyone having a anniversary coming up? Honey, we're staying at the Taco Bell this weekend for the anniversary. Yeah, going to do some the retirement supreme burrito. They're passing out diapers as well. That's nice. So we can eat all we want and poop all we want. The day pass, they have a day pass for $50 a day. It includes full access for the ticket holder and a guest to the grounds, to the recreation, to the dining from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Saturday and 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. on Sunday. It's just 2 days, man. This is not any kind of retirement. It's very misleading that they call it the retirement community. I'm sure they'll attract some people of the retirement age bracket, given the activities that they're offering here at Taco Bell. The pickleball, the golf. I'm sure someone's going to be running a bingo tournament. And, unlike other retirement communities, there's going to be no need for stool softeners in this one. Mexico cancels a statue of the Greek god Poseidon. I think this canceling is getting out of hand, guys. We're canceling Greek gods. No one takes Greek gods seriously. There's really no need to cancel Greek gods. That's like canceling He-Man. Can we cancel canceling? That's what I would like to see. And we'll call it the stage in humanity where we decided to grow the F up. That's what I want to see. Canceling. All for it, say aye. The ayes have it. All right, this story is out of Mexico City. The gods must be pretty angry or just laughing at the hubris of humanity. I would say at the stupidity of humanity. That's just me. Authorities in Mexico have decided to close a 10-foot-tall statue of the Greek god of the sea, Poseidon, that was recently erected in May in the Gulf of Mexico, just off the town of Progreso, Yucatan. Mexico's Environmental Protection Agency said that the statue, which appears to show an angry, trident-wielding Poseidon rising from the sea a few meters from the beach, lacked permits. In the few months it has been up, tourists had gathered to take selfies of themselves with the statue of Poseidon as a striking background. I'm looking at a photo of it. Yeah, it looks pretty damn cool, man. This is when you see a guy on steroids wielding a trident, that's just going to be cool. He's a guy on steroids with a trident, or a pitchfork, rather, whatever you want to call it. It's a pretty cool looking statue. I like art. I don't find it offensive, but that doesn't seem to be the reason that they removed it. I guess it didn't have permits. I don't know how you erect a 10-foot tall statue of a Greek god in Mexico and spend all that money without getting the proper permits. Let's keep reading and find out if there's some politics behind it or some ideology. Okay, it says the statue was, quote, closed this past Thursday, and it might be removed altogether after a group of activist lawyers filed a legal complaint saying that the statue of the Greek god offended the beliefs of local Maya indigenous groups who prefer their own local god of the water, known as Chak. So they have their own god of the ocean named Chak, so they're offended. They don't want Poseidon moving in on Chak's territory. The gods are very territorial, as you know, and they're always competing for our loyalty and our statues. And they're always making statues of gods with their wieners. I noticed that happens a lot. A lot of wieners, and depending on your god, you might make the wiener bigger in your statue of your god. It's a big wiener contest. Who's got the biggest wiener as far as gods goes? It seems pretty infantile, but that's how we've been doing it for thousands of years. I mean, at the end of the day, you got to respect the locals and the indigenous people. They like their own god, and they don't want Poseidon moving in on their territory down there in Mexico. Although, strangely, they seem to be very, very embracing of Jesus since all that slaughter went down. All of a sudden, the Greek god moves in. They're like, no, we're not going to have it. The article here says it's always been very dangerous for humans to get involved in battles between their deities, but this one appears to be all about present-day humanity combining cancel culture, social media storms, lawsuits, and the one truly fearsome, overpowering force in today's world, Instagram selfie-fueled tourism. True to form, Mexico's social media users took to social media to crow about the decision, with at least a dozen posting slogans like Chak 1, Poseidon 0. There are arguments on both sides. People are arguing for Poseidon. People are arguing for Chak. I'm not familiar with Chak. Let me take a look at Chak. I'm going to Google Chak, see what Chak looks like. Whoa, Chak's pretty badass, I have to say. Unlike Poseidon, he's wielding an axe. It looks like might be a hammer, and got abs just like Poseidon. So, I mean, these two could probably be gym buddies, I would say. Chak and Poseidon going to the gym, spotting each other, taking videos of each other doing their ab workouts. Now you do crunches. Now you do crunches, Poseidon. Chak's got a pretty cool headdress as well. They're both very cool gods. I would say they should be able to live in harmony, but, I don't want to get between the two deities. And, of course, the indigenous people have their thing, and you got to respect that, I think. Now, I got very excited when I first read that it said the Mexican god is Chak. I thought it said Chaka Khan, and I just almost lost my mind there for a second earlier in the story, and because I just love Chaka Khan, and she is most definitely a goddess and should be revered as such. Is there a statue of Chaka Khan at the beach? There should be, with a microphone in her hand. Shaka Khan's got some great hits, man. Through the fire, to the limit, to the wall. Sweet Thing, that's another one. I Feel For You. Oh, come on now. Feel For You? That's a great one. Oh, Shaka Khan is the jam. Okay, enough of me singing Shaka Khan. I mean, this podcast is just out of control. I can see the reviews now. The host just goes off and sings Shaka Khan for no reason. It says there's an argument on both sides for the Poseidon removal. Someone wrote, Poseidon is a Greek god who is alien to our Mayan culture. I have a human right for my Mayan culture to be reserved. So that's obviously an indigenous person. Of course you have a human right for the Maya culture to be preserved. This is a gray area, though. Just because the Poseidon statue is there doesn't mean your culture is not being preserved. It's not as though they're pulling down the statues of your culture. They're not ripping down Mayan statues, as far as I know. It's not like in the U.S. where they're actually tearing down statues of, old generals and, political leaders from during the slavery times. We're actually ripping down statues over here. So they're just they're not taking down they're just putting up a Poseidon. I don't know. Maybe they thought it might be fun. People just love to take selfies with giant statues. So they're just putting statues up. It's odd that the choice is Poseidon, because that has as much to do with Mexico as G.I. Joe. So I mean, I don't understand where that came from. But also, I would say you got to be careful about displeasing the god Poseidon, because that's how you get stuck on an Odyssey. I don't know. Those of you who know your history and know your world literature, those of you who are familiar with the great bard Homer, the Odyssey was all about Odysseus's trek trying to get home following the Trojan War. And because Odysseus and his crew angered the god Poseidon by doing some things and not doing some other things, like making appropriate sacrifices to Poseidon, the god was very vengeful against Odysseus and decided to prevent him from returning home. Over a year, he was stranded out in his ship. Various calamities befell Odysseus and his crew. I'm sure you remember specifically the Cyclops in that cave. That was a rough one. Also, when Odysseus was stuck on Calypso's island, that was rough stuff too. I can't blame him for wanting to hang out with Calypso. I mean, this hot woman feeding you grapes all day, letting you play Sony. That's a good time. Then there was also the Sirens, the Sirens who took down a lot of his crew. Not to mention the storms that Poseidon whipped up, because when Poseidon's angry, he gets in the water, he whips up some storms. It's like his toilet. He just flushes the damn thing, and your ships go down with it. So yeah, you don't want to anger Poseidon by ripping down some statues. Maybe there's a way to keep the Poseidon statue up and not anger anybody. I don't know. I want to see everybody living in harmony. Now, it also says that critics of the statue down there cite a series of recent storms in and around the Gulf of Mexico lately, such as Tropical Storm Alberto in June and Hurricane Beryl last week, as proof that the Mayan god Chak isn't quite pleased with this Poseidon statue. And that, my friends, is a very good point. Yeah, you got me on that one. Beep. Greece's new 6-day work week law takes effect. For most people, working 5 days a week is plenty, right? Well, how about 6? The country of Greece has enacted a new employment law this week that lays out a 6-day work week. This is at a time when dozens of other countries are increasingly seeing positive results from experiments with 4-day work weeks. Greece is like, we're doing 6-day work weeks. You lazy people, what about 7? Why don't you kick it up to 7? What's wrong with you? And those working 4 days, boo! You're never going to get ahead like that. Come on. How do you expect to afford to have 6 kids working 4 days a week, right? We want the 6 kids, right? At least that's what the corporate machine wants. Baby slaves, guys. They need baby slaves. Now, it says this law was passed by the Greek parliament last fall. It says an employee cannot work more than 8 hours on the additional 6th day. The employee would also be paid 40% overtime for the 6th day wages. So it doesn't sound like it's mandatory. It seems optional. and you can only work 8 hours, and you will get paid 40% overtime. What I think you should do double time. Let's be real here. Come on, double time. It's probably going to be a Saturday. People are going to give up their Saturday. Pay them double time. That's what I say. Workers in Greece have been sharply critical of the change, saying the last thing they need in an era of rising cost of living expenses is to be on the hook to work an extra day each week. The new system allows employers to decide unilaterally whether a worker should come in on a 6-day or not. It leaves intact rules that allow the option of a 6-day work week in which employees work 6.5 hours for a total of 40 hours weekly. Probably wondering why the shift to a 6-day work week. Well, the government is giving multiple reasons. Let's see if any of these are reasonable at all. Prime Minister Kyriakos Mitsotakis. Isn't that a type of yogurt? This minister says that clearing the way to make 6 days of work mandatory was necessary due to, quote, the twin perils of a shrinking population and shortage of skilled workers. Yeah. All right, so they need more slaves is what they're saying, as I alluded to earlier. The government also says that setting formal rules about a 6-day work week would fight the phenomena of undeclared work and also increase the income of employees, according to the Labor Ministry. The new law applies to companies that operate continuously around the clock 7 days a week and to companies that adopt heavy shift work to cope with an unforeseen increased workload. So it's companies that are 24/7, it sounds like. Now, of course, after this law was announced, protests quickly erupted over this added 6th workday. And it says, with Greece also contending with some dangerous wildfires, Mitsotakis was criticized as being out of touch. He posted a photo of himself smiling and standing next to a singer, Chris Martin, and the rest of the band Coldplay, while what, the fires were burning in the background? Yeah. Maybe this guy is out of touch. This 6th workday, I thought we were supposed to go back to 3 days with the help of robots and AI. Guys, we're going the wrong way. We're adding days. We're supposed to be having some time freed up by all the AI and robot assistants. I thought by the time I retire, it's going to be 2 days working. And I love to imagine a future where we don't work at all. Just all the robots are doing the work for us. But this isn't giving me any hope, this 6-day work week in Greece. And I'll say this, good luck getting Gen Z to work an extra day. These Gen Zs, they don't want to work 3 days a week. They can't. They're like, I didn't know it was an 8-hour work day. What, sheesh? Come on. I want to work 4 hours a day, come in at 11 a.m. and bring my dog with me wherever I go. My dog goes with me wherever I go, so I'm bringing my dog to work, my emotional support little buddy. Hello, my friends and loyal listeners of the Weird AF News podcast. Thanks for spending some time with me. I appreciate that so much. If you haven't subscribed to the show yet, please consider doing so in whatever podcast app you're listening to. And if you'd like to help out and give a review, that would be super helpful. You can give me 5 stars on Spotify if you're listening on Spotify. That only takes a second to give some stars. You can also leave a review on Apple Podcasts and Amazon as well. Super helpful. Hope you had a nice weekend. I want to thank everybody who reached out to me over the weekend. Appreciate that. And I just want to give a disclosure for the next week at least. I've been informed by my landlord that they're going to be working on my roof. It began at 7 a.m. Monday morning, quite loud. I was very alarmed by the noise. It seems to be right above my apartment. Sounds like Godzilla's doing jumping jacks right above my closet where I record the podcast. So naturally, I was concerned with the noise. I waited as late as I could to record this one, hoping that they would slow down and get quiet, and they did, thankfully. But I'm just giving you the heads up that there may be an episode later on this week or next week that is just out of control with the roof noise. In fact, I may have to even skip a day if it's as bad as it was this morning. But I'm going to try to still get it out. I'm going to try and still get it out. I can always, I might be able to find another place to record. Someone else's house, someone else's closet. If anyone has a closet in LA they want to lend me on a day that's too noisy on the roof, I'll take that. just want to give you guys a heads up of what's going on in my life right here and how it could affect the show and therefore how it could affect you, and I'm very congenial and I'm a concerned podcaster. I want to make sure that you're in the loop. You know what I mean? You're in the loop. I guess lastly, I'll say if you want to email me, it's funnyjones@gmail.com. Please send me any stories you come across. You can always call the show 646-450-2012. And if you want to support the show in any way, go to weirdafnews.com, and that'll show you the ways that you can support. You can do a PayPal donation, buy me a coffee, or join the Patreon, all over there at weirdafnews.com. Paid for by my amazing patrons, by the way, who are so generous. Those of you who are members of the Patreon, I've been putting some amazing songs in there that you can download. I'm going to put up another one, and so I hope you enjoy that. Anyways, I guess I'll end this by saying, good luck with your life, man. I love you guys. See you tomorrow.